when my guest's sister met me at an expo and said that I had to meet her sister because she ran this amazing company that has products for people with disabilities and wheelchairs, and it was called Really Essential. I just knew I was going to love her because who doesn't love a pun? So I'm Angie from My Bodyguard, and let me introduce you to my really awesome, sorry, I won't play any more dad jokes, Linda Holt, my guest.
Hello. Thank you for having me
Thank
on the
you for coming on. Now, I want to delve into your product range because I think it's
show.
pretty amazing. But I have a really important question to ask you first, personal
Go
question.
ahead.
What was it like to represent Australia in the Sydney Paralympics and win silver?
It was something I haven't done it again and I may never do it again. It's something that was life-changing, really, to be in the middle of the field with 70,000 people as I competed.
Yeah.
But it took me 20 years to get there. I trained since I was 9 years old,
Mm.
not knowing that was going to be my goal, obviously. But, I started at 9 and then got my way there and over all that time and training and made it to the top. But yeah, it was an amazing experience. I still to this day, it's been a big part of my life.
Yeah, I think it has. You've got to that top level of something, and that doesn't happen just overnight.
It's a
I'm
lot of
sure you did
training.
a bit of training, it's a dedication, it's a commitment. It's not just being good at it, is it?
No, like I said, it's dedication, commitment. It's missing things. Like I couldn't always go to events because I was training or I was at another competition. It's sacrifices, but they're good sacrifices and ones I'd do again.
Yeah.
Um, but it's yeah, and there's mindset and there's a lot of that involved as well. So yeah, it's a long road, but it's worthwhile doing. And yeah, it takes a lot.
It
Like I said,
takes,
12 sessions a week of training. I
wow.
worked a full-time job.
Yeah.
I remember my best friend got married and I had to go to a competition. And it's like I had to negotiate that I had to go
Oh,
to her wedding. I was able to go to the rehearsal. I think it was, no, it was the wedding. And then I had to jump on a flight at midnight or the latest flight to get to the comp the next day. Normally,
such
I
a
probably would
benefit.
have had to miss that had it been the next day. So I had to have my friend plan her wedding around my schedule almost. I
That's
was
a
like,
good
I've
friend.
kind of got this comp on. Actually, I think it
Yeah.
was the Paralympics even. Like,
It's
I
really important.
really kind of got to do it. So she kind of scheduled around me a bit, but that was a close one. I had to jump on a plane that night.
Wow. So I know sport is obviously a big part of your life. I love the sport too. So what do you think it was that sport gave you, and why do you think that became your focus?
Look, I think you have to be either a sporty person or not anyway. And I discovered I was sporty when I was 9, but I didn't know that before. And I really came about because back in my day, we're talking 80s, 70s, 80s, we weren't so integrated with sports. I remember school sports, I was on the sideline. I was told to go to the library while they're doing sports. They didn't include me. They didn't really know how to include me.
Yeah.
So when I found disability sports, like I actually found a club, a disabled club, and they were my people. So
Yeah.
it was my community after that.
Yeah.
So I trained with people and we did all kinds of sports. We didn't do just one sport. When I was 9, I did everything just to see what I was good at. And I
Mm.
just loved it.
Yeah.
So therefore I was like, obviously I found I was a sporty person. And like to this day, I'm still doing sport. Like even after really retiring from shot put and discus, I'm now doing ice hockey. Like it's high intensity and crazy. And it's just because I miss doing something
Yeah.
sporty. So I got back into doing it.
And I'm hearing that it's a great community.
Oh, it is. I love my hockey team. They're amazing.
Yeah.
Like family is, but that's how it should be. Sport should
That's
be
how it
like
should
that.
be. I
Mm.
100% agree. Yeah.
We have all different abilities in the team. We've got return servicemen. We've got who do the Invictus Games and things like that. So there's a whole mixture of people, but
Yeah.
it's so high intensity. The game running into people and yeah, it's just great. I think that's why I was drawn to it. It's the smash. It's
You like
great.
a little bit of
I like a bit of aggression. It's like, it's healthy aggression.
it is. And that's interesting because I've noticed that I mean, you left home at a very early age, like
I
40.
think,
It tells me you're determined, you're committed, you are gonna thrive
yeah,
regardless.
and opportunities. Like I think I have opportunities present to me, and I'll just take them. So when I was 14, like you're saying, I was 14, I had an opportunity to go and live in a house that was disabled specific. So like it was low benches and everything. It was made just for someone in a wheelchair, to
Mhm.
go in with 5 of my friends, but we didn't have any staff as such. We had a house mother. So it was like almost boarding school almost.
Right.
And she wasn't medically trained or anything. She was just like a mum. She'd had kids herself. So she kind of kept an eye on us, but we had to do cooking, cleaning, washing, go to school. We had to do everything. And that's where we learned to be independent. So I
Mm.
think it was more about opportunities when they present. You got to say yes. So my motto these days is say yes to anything,
Yep,
work it out.
and figure it out later.
Work out how I'm going to do it. I'll say yes to everything. Hence, I'm here doing this. Like I just said, yeah, let's do
I
this.
know, and I really, really appreciate it
Never
because
know where it
it's really our
takes you.
wheelhouse,
Yeah.
podcasts and interviewing and having these conversations that are recorded. It is a little bit out of our comfort zone, so I do appreciate that.
But I do love to do that. Like say yes, do it. And that's how I get to do what I do. I'm just always open to opportunities.
Yeah, and I'm so pleased because, as I say, this sort of information is really important to people. So, sport, you took that everywhere, like you did it so really
I
high
did.
level, and you went all over the world. But you would have, as brilliant as that was, you would have experienced some accessibility issues. Being in a wheelchair and the world way back was not.
Even now, look, we have improved upon that.
Yeah,
I mean, I traveled to Prague, one of the countries, let me tell you, not accessible. That was 90s, I think. Oh no, just before 2000, but cobblestones and things like that. It's
oh,
an old country, like so that's really not accessible. But even Sydney, where I am today, we're still improving. Like we've recently, our ferry wharf, for instance, was not accessible, and I remember having a conversation with the council, going, "We need to make this accessible," and that was like 20 years ago. And they went, "Yeah, we've got plans to do it." They've literally just done it now.
wow,
And the buses, 10, no, not even 10, like probably 6 years ago, I used to have to get the bus to go to work in the city. It would take me 2 hours to get there because every bus, one every hour was accessible.
all right,
And if that was full, being peak hour, I had to wait for the next one.
yeah,
So things like that. But now, and that's only changed in the last six or so, well, maybe 8 years. Time gets away from me, but it's not that long in the
that
scheme.
isn't
But
no,
now that pretty much every bus is accessible. And
yeah,
I still have issues. If it's full, there's only the 4 spots a wheelchair can sit in the bus. So if they've got a pram on there, there's one other spot. Then we're done anyway. So accessibility is getting better. We
mhm.
still have a long way to go. I still can't get into a lot of buildings here. And I'll even ring ahead. I have to ring ahead everywhere and go, "Hey, so is your premises accessible?" And they're like, "Yeah. Yeah, once you get over the first step, everything's accessible." And I'm like, you need to just listen to what you just said to me. The first 2 steps or whatever, like that's not accessible. Now I've gone to places and their disabled toilet has all their chairs and things in there. It's their storage room. I'm like, well, now you have to move all that out. You're like, to this day, I still have that.
That's
Even
incredible.
even shopping centers like Myers and David Jones and Target, they use the disabled room sometimes as a storage facility. I'm often getting them to drag everything out if I want to try something on. It's like they just still don't get it,
That's
but it is improving.
really insulting.
Yeah.
The curb cut effect, that initiative, I remember when that was launched, I was really impressed that we were finally having these conversations because everyone deserves to be able to walk into the building or
Yeah.
to access the building or to, not have to ring first.
I still have to ring first. Yes, those initiatives are great, but they're still not rolled out everywhere. There are
Yeah.
still curbs that don't have cutouts.
No, no. And when I was saying walk, it's still tripping hazards for people. So we need a ramp, but we also sometimes don't need the steps because you might have had a brain injury or a tripping hazard for someone with low sight or you know, there's so many variations that I think need to be included. It's not just one person. Yeah.
Absolutely.
I'm
It's
sorry to
so
hear that. I wish I had
progress.
a wand, you know.
It is better and
Mm,
it is making life easier. We
yeah.
still have a long way to go. Even like with Paralympic sport, like we have a long way to go still, but we're getting better. And
Mm,
that's all we can hang on to at the
yeah.
moment.
Yeah.
And it does make life easier,
Good.
but I still have to think ahead whenever I travel and do something. It's a whole process. I have to call, make sure accessible and my idea of accessible and yeah.
Different to theirs because it only has one
Exactly.
step, Linda. You'll be fine to
Exactly.
get over that first step
Yeah,
and you'll love it.
exactly.
Now, this product range,
Hmm.
it's pretty big and pretty, yeah, thank you for including us, but
Growing. Yes, it's growing constantly.
yeah, but some of the things I was blown away, like this trolley for the back of the wheelchair. No brainer. When you're traveling, that's where your suitcase.
That's how my business started, was with
I
those
love that.
bags.
Yeah,
I look, I didn't design them. I'm just a distributor for them, but they're amazing. So I use them myself when I travel for work and sport. And so I just had people coming up to me like, "Oh, those bags are amazing. Like, where do you get them?" I'm like, okay, you get them from me." And then I worked out a deal, and so I became a distributor for them. And then I'm like, well, what else do I need that other disabled people will need? Like, what's going to make my life easier? And if it's going to make my life easier, it's going to make someone
probably
else's.
going to help a whole community.
So it's just growing. So I've got the bags now that they're my biggest product or my first product. And I've got the adaptive clothing. I've got the scales, wheelchair scales. People don't understand. Like, we can have weight issues in a wheelchair. I myself have had weight issues. So it's like, I can't go to Bunnings or Target and get a $10 set of scales.
No,
People expect to go to the hospital every time I wanted to weigh myself. I'm like, that's just impossible. I'm not going to drive to the hospital, get parking or a cab or whatever, get myself to a hospital to go and weigh in a public place every time I wanted to, and you need to do that weekly. Like you can't do that once a month because it can change rapidly in that time.
yeah,
And you can't do the whole, well, I'll measure stuff because I've lost quite a bit of weight and my clothes still fit. So I can't just do measurements.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
need to go and buy scales. So they're like $1,500. So we can't just get the ones off the shelf. So things like that, well, that's important. We need that. So
Mm.
I've done that. And now I'm actually even delving into new things because I'm like, well, what's on the market right now? Well, that could be improved upon. So
Oh, I
now I'm
love
actually
that.
designing stuff.
Yes,
I've
yes.
got 3 things. I'm working with some engineers at the moment to have new products that I'm bringing out that is a spin on what's already out there, but just make it a little bit better.
Tweaking it to make
So,
it, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like a prototype, or this is what we
yeah,
used to have,
that's right.
but
I'm doing prototypes at the moment.
we've
Like
got
I've got,
better at it. Mm.
yeah. So I've got things that are like, well, look, these things kind of already exist, but am I making it smaller? Am I making it more functional? Is it going to be electronic or like all these different things that I'm trying to come up with?
Yeah.
Even with the bags, I'm even come up with a contraption that's going to make every chair fit the bag. At the moment, there are only a select few that can fit it. So I'm like, well, no, why should some people be excluded? So I've come up with something that should now actually get everyone to be able to have these bags because they're so amazing.
Yeah.
So this is the thing, I'm just trying to think outside the box now and design stuff. Um, yeah. I'm even doing a range of clothing with Christina Stevens, who is a fashion designer who does adaptive clothing. And we're like, well, yeah, look, I love your clothing. They're not always my style. So like, let's do a style. So now I'm actually going to create with her some things.
I
So
can't
once
wait
again,
for that.
yes to everything and work it out later. But I'm like, yeah, let's do something.
I remember seeing, just recently, I'm always watching Dragon's Den and things like that. I think Shark.
Oh, yes.
And they had someone come in with adaptive clothing and things like that. And I was just mind blown.
You just don't know how hard it is to get
No,
dressed. The
no.
little things, and just to make a couple of zips here and there or Velcro, it's just going to make all the difference to someone's life. Like
Yeah.
getting dressed is not a 5-minute job for us. It takes time. And look, we're great at it now. We've been doing it for so long. We've got it down pat, but we're tired by the end of the day because all these extra little things that take us that little extra to do, just we get tired.
Yeah, yeah. And if these simple little things make that
Yeah,
job that's a 10-minute job, a 5-minute job
it's easier.
every
Yeah,
day, not just once,
Yeah.
I saw you have this tipping kettle, a safe
Kettle.
tipping kettle.
Yeah. For people who've got the dexterity problems and like just little things like that. Like, and if I haven't got it, I'll try and source it. Like, because I can't have everything, but I'm trying to find other things. And like, there's just so many things that will help people. Like with your, you know,
Yeah, with yeah, absolutely.
okay, like my mum's got dementia. So like that's perfect for
Yeah,
people like that and the age community that I deal with as well, because I do NDIS and aged care. Like that's perfect.
yeah, yeah.
Right? That's making people's lives easier.
I 100% agree. I think there's some crossover in our little communities there. Hence our conversation. I was going to ask. So you can purchase your products through NDIS funding.
Yeah,
Obviously, they have it, but the range. Okay, that makes it accessible to
absolutely.
everyone as well.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I can do NDIS, and aged care as well. I've got, yeah.
yeah. So how do you? So I was going to ask you how do products make the cut, but realistically, if you see that it's going to be a benefit to
Yeah.
someone in your community.
Not always for me. Like walking sticks. I've got walking sticks that obviously I'm never going to use those.
Never
And
going to use the walking stick. Yeah.
my mum's going to use them.
Yeah.
So I just look at all products and think, is that useful to someone in my community? And then if I can put it on our shop, I will.
Yeah. Well, I'm so
So
excited.
obviously, I focus a lot on the wheelchair stuff because that's me, like the wheelchair scales and the bags. But I'm branching out to everything because
Oh no, there's
better.
so many products there. Like, and honestly, it'll. Well, I'm going to get you to say your website in a minute, but people will go and have a look, and you'll just go, oh, and
Yeah.
oh, I didn't realize there was this, and I hope that opens it up to people as well, that they didn't even realize that this invention's out there, which I think is really good to hear that you can be a part of that as well. Because who else better to design something?
That's right. Those bags are designed by Andrew Andrew's, I can never say his last name, Solinger or something. He's in the UK and like he's in a wheelchair, so he knows.
Yeah.
And he's actually just created a wheelchair that I'm just ordered as well. And that wheelchair's designed by someone in a wheelchair who knows how to use them.
Yeah.
So yes, it's important to have the lived experience, I think. And then we actually want to help as opposed to, just a money spinner. Like I genuinely want to help people.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so therefore for Really Essential, what's the plans? Is it finding niche products for different?
Yeah. Is still keep growing, finding more products.
Yeah.
And then I'm moving more into the development too. That's exciting. So I'm now got to look outside the box and go, well, what's missing? What could help? And try and come up with something, create something totally new. So that's something I'm hoping to delve a bit more into as well. So, but yeah, just keep growing and yeah.
Oh, I think, that bit excites me. I didn't know you were getting into that side, and it makes sense. It's again a no-brainer process, or you've done this, you've sourced this, and there you go. Actually, I can do that one better. Let's play with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. All right. So I know that people are going to see this website now that we've spoken about it. So what's your website? And are you doing any expos? What's the best way to find you and your products?
I'm everywhere. I'm not doing any expos. I just did 2. So I'm not got any more expos on for this year, but I'll be doing more. They can find me at like wheelieessential.com.au.
Yep.
So WHEELIEESSENTIAL. So there's a lot of I's and E's and it's a little bit complex, but it was cute. So I liked it.
Oh, as I said, that's how I started. It's the best name. I love a play on words. And
I know, I loved it.
As soon as I heard that, I loved it. .com.au.
And then I'm also on Facebook, Instagram. I'm kind of everywhere. But you can follow me, and like I've also got Linda Holt _Paralympian in Instagram if you want to watch my sporting side. I've also got, look, while I'm at it, I've got 2 other businesses because you can't have enough. So I'm actually working. I have a service job as well for people with disabilities. Once again, started with the whole I need help in these areas. So I've got Choice Consultancy I started that, and we do support work and cleaning and things like that. And then I've recently merged with a company called Devian, and so now we've got the Devian Group. I work with them as well. So we're national. So I can help you in anything you want. I can
Oh,
basically help you with services and equipment. So
yay.
I'm a go-to girl.
Oh, I know. And again, I think that comes down to your determination and commitment. I think it's just you, isn't it? That you are going to break through, make it, find a way, drag people along to join you.
Absolutely.
No guns to anyone's heads, but
No.
you'll, yeah, and I love that. Well, thank you so much
Yeah.
for taking the time to talk to us. As I say, I know
My
it's not
pleasure.
in your wheelhouse. You're my first Paralympian that I've ever interviewed,
Oh,
so that'll go down in
thank
my history.
you.
But
Well,
I
hopefully watch this space. I may make another one day, but you don't just make it because you're disabled. You've got to work towards it. So that's my goal. In, whenever a couple of years' time, if I work really hard with my ice hockey, you might see me again.
That's great. I can't believe you do ice hockey. Those people are scary good. So
Crazy people, but it's great.
crazy. Yes, yes. Well, I hope people find you and you can change their lives as well. Thanks,
Hope-
Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah, bye.